So I'm working on tutorial 3 in chapter 4. We're doing a sketch with dimensions and relations. So I have a new sketch started. I am in millimeter seconds for my units. I'm in the front plane, and I'm going to put in a horizontal center line. So to get started with this sketch, we want to start over on the right hand side. So we know we need some type of an arc slot. We just have to figure out which one of these tools to select from. So I'm going to do a center point arc slot, and I'm going to put my center point right here. That's the click number 1. So if you look over here on the left, you'll see it tells you what order you're going to click in. So click here for my center point. I'm going to bring my mouse out, up and around, over this way, and I'm going to put in my second point right here. Here's another click and one more click to bring it out. So it kind of put it in there backwards, which is not what I wanted, but that's okay. And click the green check mark. I should be able to click this and drag and get it to flip around for me. It might not flip around. Uh-oh, it's not wanting to flip around. Alright, so we might have to start over on this. So I'm going to click on it and tell it to get rid of it, and it's gone. Let's try another center point slot arc one more time. So here's click 1. There's click 2. Oh, it doesn't like that. Let's see. Try it again. Here's click 1. I'll try it this way. There's 2. There's 3. There's click 4. So sometimes you click in one direction, sometimes another. It doesn't matter. It's there. So now I need to go in and fix these numbers. So that needs to go to 60. And again, where are these numbers coming from? They are coming from the sketch that was given to us. So I'm just looking at my sketch numbers and typing that in. So I'm going to zoom in here a little bit so we can see. So those are the numbers that are given to me in the drawing. One thing I do need to do is I need to make this point line up on the horizontal line. So the easiest way to do that, I can click and drag, and you'll notice that it added that relation. See the yellow box that's showing up there? That is auto adding that relation, which is what I want to do, so I can let go. The other way I could have done is come up here to the top and chosen add relation and done it the long way, but clicking and dragging is a lot quicker. So the next thing we want to do is go in and choose to create a dynamic mirror line. So if I go to Tools, Sketch Tools, Dynamic Mirror, I can choose to make that horizontal line dynamic mirror. And so you can see right here, the double line showed up to tell me that that's a dynamic mirror. So I'm going to kind of start with the left end of this sketch. And again, I'm just going to get a rough outline of what it should look like, and then we can use our dimensions and relations to shore it up a little bit. So I'm over on the left, and again, this is dynamic mirror. So let's see. As we draw, it should give us a little preview of what it looks like down on the bottom. So again, it doesn't have to be perfect, just needs to be close. So I'm going to take this all the way over and draw it a little bit long into that. So obviously it's not where it's supposed to be, so I should be able to come in and click and drag, and these lines aren't going where I wanted them to go, so that's okay. I'm going to click and drag and adjust my proportions a little bit here, just to kind of make it line up and work a little bit better. I can pop in this line now. Let's see. And I want it to go in like that. There we go. So now we can adjust that down a little bit. So not perfect, but close. And that's what we're shooting for, is just close. So I can come in and maybe over in this area, trim those off a little bit. And let's see, do the same thing down there. So you can see the little green boxes. Those are my relations that are getting added as we go. I need to come over here and finish the end of this little tail piece. Alright, anytime you draw a vertical line like that that goes through that center line sketch, it's going to give you that warning, and that's totally fine. That's okay. Let's see, out here in the center we have some circles, so we're going to go ahead and draw those. One's small, and again, that's fine, and one's large. So sometimes when you get warnings, it's not always a bad thing. So there we go. So I use that dynamic mirror, and I kind of have my basic sketch done in there. So, not too bad. So the way that the book kind of goes through, and once you get to this area, to this part here, it tells you can go in and do some trims. So I am going to go ahead and do that next. So we're looking here at this center circle, and we'll do some trimming of what needs to be gotten rid of. Let's see, we need to get rid of this. That part's gone, and then this part here and there. Those parts are gone, so I've trimmed in there. I also need to come in and, it's not going to let me trim that. That's okay. It told me it just broke the slot, which is fine. It's not a slot anymore because we trimmed out those pieces. So we got all of that trimmed. Now, because we just broke that slot relation when that warning message came up, we have to go back in over here now to our slot and add some relations back. They used to be there, but now that we got rid of them, when we trimmed right here in this area, we have to go add some relations back. So that's what we're going to do next. I'm looking at figure 4-91 in our text, and we're going to go and add some relations. So I'm going to choose to add relation. And the first thing I'm going to do is say that this arc and that are tangent. Okay, so you can see it added the tangent there. And then I can green check mark that. And as I'm moving around, I'm going to take, I'm going to push escape so I don't have anything selected. I can add a relation and say that that arc and this one right there are tangent. Okay, so we did that. And I can right click and choose OK and then escape because I don't want to have anything else selected. Then I'm going to continue and kind of do the same add relation down here as well. So here and here are tangent. And then escape. And one more tangent to add right here. Here and here are tangent. Alright, so we got those tangents added. The other thing that we need to do is come in and make sure that we have a symmetric relationship between these centers of these circles. They need to be symmetric around this center line. So I'm going to go and push escape so I don't have anything selected. Add relation between that circle and that one. And we want to make those symmetric about this center line. So if when I grab this circle, that circle, and the center line, notice now it gives me the option to force those to be symmetric. So now I've added the symmetry around that slot. So now it started as a slot, and when you did a slot, it has all that stuff built into it. But as soon as I trimmed it in here, it lost a lot of those relations. So that's why we had to go back and put those on there. So the next thing I'm going to do is a little bit different from the book. It tells you to go in and put the fillets in. The way I like to draft, I do fillets at the end. So the next thing I'm going to do, I've got most of my relations are built in there. I'm going to start adding in some dimensions next. So remember, when we dimension, it's different than maybe another CAD program. Instead of grabbing endpoints when we use our Smart Dimension tools, what we're going to do is grab lines instead. So if I say that from this line to this line and then click one more time, that's where I can come in and start throwing in dimensions. And you'll notice I did that and stuff got really crazy, like it doesn't look like it did before. And that's because when I sketched it, you'll see it was 111. So what I might want to do before I go in and just randomly start throwing in dimensions in there is take these sketch lines, and again they're moving together because we use dynamic mirror, and kind of get them a little closer maybe to what they should have been, because I wasn't a very good sketcher earlier. So kind of slide things around with your mouse if you get weird stuff happen with your dimensions. So now I'm a lot closer to 50, so now it shouldn't do crazy stuff. Okay, so there, that one set is 50, and then this one in here is a little bit different. I don't have lines as such anymore. I do want to have points because I don't have horizontal and vertical lines. So I'm going to grab the endpoint to the endpoint and come up, and that one is 30. Okay, then I know that the angle between here to here is 28. So just so you can see that one more time to see what numbers I used to get that. I clicked one angled line, then the other angled line, and now you can see I can pop in and force that angled dimension. And if you need to move these around so that they don't get in your way and drive you crazy, that's fine. And let's see, the next sets of dimensions that I'm going to put on deal with the distance from this center circle out to these points. So I'm going to go ahead and start those. And again, if it gets crazy, I can always use my slider and slide them around. So I'm going to do the 90 first, the largest dimension. So the end of this tail, I'm going to click there, and then I can click anywhere along this arc. It doesn't have to be the center point of the circle. I can just click the circle and pull my mouse down, and let's see what happens. I'm going to put in a crazy number. Let's see what happens here. So when I type that, it needs to be 90. Let's see what happens. Crazy stuff happens. See how that all got messed up? So I'm going to hit undo. Hit undo one more time and get rid of that. Let's slide some things around and see if we can't make this a little bit better. So I'm going to take just very carefully and slowly start sliding things around so we can not have crazy stuff happen with these dimensions as we bring them and slide everything over and get it a little bit closer. Again, this is why when you sketch, you need to pay a little bit of attention to those numbers. When I was sketching this, I didn't. So now you can see what happens when you don't take your time and do a good sketch. Crazy stuff happens. Let's see. I think we're a little closer now. So from this line here to this circle, we need to be at 90. Let's see what happens. All right. Not too bad. That I can work with. So I can come over and adjust this a little bit and make these proportions work a little bit more. Okay, we're better now. All right. So that one's 90. Then I need to do the 61 is from this line here to the center of the circle. That was 61. And then from this point right here to the center of the circle is 49. So you can see this thing is starting to take shape. Not too bad. All right. So I got those dimensions popped in there. Let's see. From here to there, that distance is, not a degree. It's supposed to be, need to have not a degree measurement, but an actual distance. So let's see. From this line up to this line, not a degree measurement. That's not what I'm wanting. It's trying to throw in some degrees, and that's not what we want. So let's see. Let's try something a little bit different. Undo that and get rid of that number. It's not coming out like I want it to. So maybe from the center of the circle up to this line, if we make that 10, then that'll make, crazy stuff just happened. Do you see that? Crazy, crazy stuff. So it looks like maybe I need a relation. Maybe this line right here is not set to be symmetrical anymore. Something crazy is going on. So I'm going to push escape. I'm going to undo, get me back to where I was. So something interesting is going on. So if I take this line and I click and drag, let's see what happens with it. Some crazy stuff is going on. And so I'm just hitting the undo button to get me back to where I was before. I want to see what's going on with these relations. So it looks like those are coincident. They're in line. Okay, that's good. That stops at that endpoint. I'm just clicking on these relations to see what's going on. Let's see. I think what we need to do is force these lines to be horizontal. That is a relation that I'm not seeing. So I'm going to go ahead and choose to add a relation and click on that line right there and tell it that no matter what, I always want that to be horizontal. Now let's go and add that dimension in and see what happens. So from there to there, nope, it's still not doing what I want it to do. Let's see. So from, let's see, let's add a horizontal relation down here at the bottom as well. Add a relation here and tell that it needs to be horizontal. Let's see if that doesn't fix it. So from here to there. Aha, there we go. Now I can force those to be 20 units apart. So as I was drawing, I didn't see these horizontal relations, so I needed to put that in there so that I was able to add in that 20 dimension. We've got an angle given to us. There's an angle between this line right here and this right here. So I'm going to grab the two lines, and if you come up, then you can force your angle. So the angle there is 75. So we're starting to get a little closer here to what this thing is supposed to look like. The radius here on the outside is 19. Okay. This diameter here is 13. So we're starting to get closer. Things are starting to come into play, and things aren't going crazy and moving around, being ridiculous. Okay, let's go over to the slot now, and let's double check our dimensions over here. So these circles need a dimension. Let's see, those are diameter 15 circles. Okay, we're getting there. All right. So you'll notice I still, the goal of when we do these sketches is to make everything black. So some of these lines are black and some of them aren't. So I'm going to click and drag, and I'm going to watch and see kind of what parts move together. And it looks like everything over here on this left half from this point to the left is moving together. I'm going to look over here on the right and see if I can get some of this stuff to move. And it looks like it's pretty... it's set. None of this stuff is letting me click and drag and move it around. So I think what I need to do is, if you look at this overall slot and this radius 69, see how its center point is here? Well, that center point should match up with this center point. So it looks like what I need to do is move this circle to where those center points are then concentric. So now let's see what moves. So now it looks like the whole piece is moving together. And I bet the reason that the whole piece is moving together is because nothing is locked down to the origin. So now I can take this center point, slide it over here on top of the origin, and lock it down. And magically now some of my dimensions went a little crazy. And that's all right. I can click and move them and put them back where I want them to go. It's not a problem. Don't let that freak you out too much. Okay. But now you'll see that I have a fully locked down all black sketch. So simple as that.